And even though I'm 47 and a half years old, I still find things like that temporarily thrilling. Shaun's in Horsham. Shaun, do you find Jeremy Corbyn thrilling?
It's always 11:11 when I glance at the clock as well. I've not always been a Labour voter. History of following politics.
Yes.
I remember when the discussions on the London Underground using PFI were on in the 90s, and people were saying, use PFI. I was getting aerated and started to become more political around the outsourcing of public services throughout the Blair period.
Yes, absolutely. You were ahead of the curve on that.
I still supported Blair. And then off the back of that, I switched to Nick Clegg and was betrayed. I don't support fracking. Therefore, Jo Swinson's donation bothers me.
She's taken money from a fracking firm, has she?
Yeah.
I think I
don't support the selling off of state forests, which, for all of his faults, and there are faults, he's not perfect, Mr. Corbyn.
Yes, but you see...
he's voted... Please let me finish.
Of course I will, mate.
He's voted against the whip a number of times, lots of times, right?
About 500.
But it's on things like PFI, the Iraq War and other things. I challenge people to look at the voting record and say, why can't Jo Swinson vote against the selling off of state forests or the selling off of Royal Mail to 80% of city interest?
Do you mind if I speak now? I'm not being facetious.
Yes.
Good, thank you. No one has set up a contest between Jeremy Corbyn and Jo Swinson today.
No, I think.
But that's the phone in your. That's the phone in you're contributing to.
No, what's the attacks on Jo Swinson haven't been attacks. They've been sharing voting records.
I'll say it again. No one has set up Jeremy Corbyn versus Jo Swinson today. This is Jeremy Corbyn versus any.
You've mentioned Jo Swinson many times on the show.
I haven't. I haven't.
And you've had Alistair Campbell on the show. Said that the strategy.
But I need to remind you, Shaun, that no one this morning at 11:13, the last hour and a quarter, no one is saying Jeremy Corbyn or Jo Swinson. The conversation is Jeremy Corbyn or any other Labour leader.
Okay, and Alistair Campbell's point of strategising when a new Tory leader comes in, what he did to strategise is when Michael Howard became leader, he created an anti-Semitic poster portraying Michael Howard as Fagin, swinging a clock.
Yes, you see, again, the suggestion that rather than address criticisms of Jeremy Corbyn, all that his supporters do... No, but hang on, you listen to me now, okay? The suggestion was all his supporters do is launch attacks upon people within the Labour movement, or launch attacks on Jo Swinson, rather than addressing the criticism of Jeremy Corbyn. And here you are, live on national radio, attacking Jo Swinson and Alistair Campbell. How does that win votes for Labour, Shaun?
Right, Labour, you talked about policy earlier, right? So what we have here is affordable housing at 50%.
No, but again, I have to remind you, this isn't a conversation about policies. This is a conversation about personalities and leaders. That's the politics we're living in now.
I think
Boris Johnson is in Downing Street.
Been assassinated in the press.
And now you're blaming it on the media. This is almost like the greatest hits of Corbynism, mate. So tell me something. Okay, here's the final question, because I appreciate you don't want to answer any of the others. How much longer?
You haven't asked me any.
How much? Well, I have several.
Ask me one then, please.
Okay, how much longer do we give him?
Right. What we do is we wait for his continued opposition to a no-deal Brexit to result in an election. Then there will be a Remain versus no-deal election, and according to LBC's own poll that I'm staring at here, LBC have Labour at 37% and Conservatives at 19%, with 22,000 votes.
Yeah, that wasn't a poll, was it? That was an online vote.
It's still going now.
Yeah, so it's literally anyone. Literally anyone can click on it.
All of your listeners that suck in.
It's not a poll. It's an online vote. We used to run them on. Do you want Nigel Farage to be Prime Minister? And they'd come in at about 80%, mate. It's for people who've got nothing better to do with their day except click on ludicrous. I suppose I shouldn't say that, given that it's one under the auspices of LBC.
But it's surprising for an LBC poll, given.
No, it isn't, mate. Because you know about it. You know about it. So. The suggestion from the statement from Jeremy Corbyn that Labour is not a Remain party, how does that square with the analysis you just shared?
Labour have an issue with communication on this.
No, I'm really sorry, mate. I'm going to push you on this. Labour is not a Remain party. Shaun in Horsham says Labour will fight the next general election as a Remain party. That is called faith, not fact.
Well, he faced up against Boris. He faced it up against Boris last week on Thursday and said that Labour will campaign for Remain against the No Deal.
Against the No Deal, but he doesn't even want a second referendum. He wants to get into power and do his own renegotiation with people who've said they're not going to negotiate with us. And you know, I know it wasn't intentional, and I know it possibly feels a little unfair, but you just ticked every single box. Attack former Labour staffers like Campbell, attack Jo Swinson, attack the media, attack this, attack that, claim it's a Remain party when the leader says it isn't. Any response at all to criticism of Jeremy Corbyn or the suggestion that he should be doing a hell of a lot better by now? Yes. It's not his fault. He's the Shaggy of British politics.